hello, dear listener, and welcome to the Freedom Speak podcast, the mouthpiece for Freedom Speak International, an organization built for and by the immigrant community in Canada to articulate and amplify issues that matter to them. Today, we are privileged to host Miss Dean. I hope that's the way to pronounce your name, and if I'm wrong, please correct me. A young immigrant living in Canada and an author of several books, here to tell us all about her writing journey and hopefully share some secrets to her success. Welcome to the studio, Miss Dan. Yeah, before we go too far, allow me to reiterate that in this podcast, we support and encourage, promote free speech within the confines of the rule of law, respect for oneself, respect for others, and individual responsibility. Welcome once again, Miss Dan. You're welcome to go right in and start by introducing yourself.
Hi, thank you for having me.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
it's no worries. Your pronunciation of my name is correct, so thank you for that. So
I'm
my
glad.
name is Thanh. I've been here in Canada for about probably more than 10 years now, and my journey started as an international student. So yeah, it's been quite a very long time. So yeah, that's why I become an author is an up and down journey actually, because like many immigrant children, especially from the Asian heritage, I was in Canada to pursue a business degree because it is very traditional for Asian family to have someone successful like in financial status. So yeah, that's also the reason why I wrote this one, the Chronicle of a Love Foretold, and in it you will find a lot of things about the stigma and the stigma and some of you will find that it is very traditional for Asian family in there, and maybe some of you will find like it is somehow like subjective, but it is very true
Okay.
for all of that. So yeah, I study at the University of Toronto, and thank you for University of Toronto. Now I have a trauma for that, but
I'm
well,
so
yeah,
sorry.
and then yes, starting out as a writer at first fell a lot of time because not all writer will be successful at the first time. But then I started thinking, why not starting a publishing company? Because if someone's voice is not listening, they can't be listened by anyone else, and I will be willing to be the one who listens to them.
That is so interesting. And you're very correct that your voice is your own to own and use and articulate your own stories. So please tell me, when did you start writing?
I think I started writing way back in 2011. By that time, I was writing just a short pieces, short stories, poems, and a few bits and pieces like that. And then it come to 2018. That was when I first met my creative writing professor, Professor Green, Richard Green. Yeah, he was the one who told me to keep writing because he recognized my talent in writing stories, and he helped me finish my first draft of my first novel. But that novel didn't went through successfully. Well, thank you, Professor Green, anyway. But yeah, then after that, I keep on writing and writing and writing because I believe that, as he said, a writer doesn't mean that you have to have a book published out there. As long as you keep on writing, you are already a writer.
That's right. That's right. So what was the title of your first book, the one that didn't do so well?
It was called "And Even If Love Was Lost." And unfortunately, that book didn't go as planned because first of all, it was mostly about political landscape, and it was very provocative in the ideas of championing for fighting against authoritarianism and fighting against dictatorship. So yeah, I think it is a very heavy topic, and in the general landscape of the literature work at that time, it wasn't a very good topic to broach to like bring it out in the light. So I understand. It's
Yeah,
just business as usual.
it happens. When was it published again?
But it wasn't published. I still keep it shelf.
Oh, I see. Everybody has a manuscript sitting somewhere. I have one and I'm working on a
Yeah.
second. So I think that you are in good company. So now tell me about the current book that I found at the Wide on the Street Festival. It is a
Mhm.
Chronicles of a Love Foretold?
Yeah,
Why such an interesting title? What is it about?
the Chronicle. Yeah, the title is maybe readers who familiar with literature will see that it is very familiar title because it's from Gabriel Garcia Marquez title Chronicle of a Death Foretold.
Mhm.
And I have like a very passionate love for his fiction. He's one of my inspiration for writing novels. So at first it didn't mean to be like Chronicle of a Love Foretold, but when I think of a title, I was like, because in this novel everything was set out to end at the same result no matter what we do. So it is almost for something like it has been foretold from the beginning to the end that the result will be the same no matter how much we try to change it. Although love cannot be powerful enough to cure and heal everything, but as long as you have the hope and the belief in it, it is enough to carry you through every struggle. And it is exactly the journey of carrying through life, carrying through the struggle, the burdens, and the pressure with love. That is why it is Chronicle of a Love Portal.
Nice introduction there. Would you be kind enough to open a page and read for us? Show me the
Yeah, of
cover
course.
first of all.
So I will read you a page from one of my favorite chapter, which is chapter 6, a letter from the main protagonist writing to his lover.
Okay.
So it is letter number 3. Simon, 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 I whisper your name in the sweet agony of the sleepless night, and with every note, I can taste the bittersweet poison of your existence pouring into me until I am no longer a free entity. Simon, did you know that autumn here in Mississauga is very beautiful? Our neighbors recommended an iceberg for my family to visit when we had time, and all I heard from my mother was the sound of the curtains closing. Simon, why is this so hard to believe in? I know my mother is afraid. I know she had a hard life. She dropped the degrees, the certificates, and all the fancy shit back home to come here, looking for freedom. But now, freedom sounds more like that. Who would have thought that a bachelor's degree in economics would prove to be less important than used toilet paper? I saw her burn everything to line up our small barbecue set. Her face showed no regret. But if we were to believe the facial mask that everyone puts in front of us, what kind of pathetic life would that be? Living based on lies or living to feel life? Which do you prefer? Simon, I don't feel well. I never do. I run high fevers on passionate yearning, and I jump head first into the nearest abyss without even considering the consequences and the aftermath. I cross the street without watching the light, because no matter what, I'm just living to count the days. My life revolves around 2 months, October and May. The day you came into my life and the other when you went away. Simon, a sage used to preach to his brethren that the more people leave your life, the more you forgive yourself. You don't know on what crowd you need that forgiveness, but you'll learn until one day the act of them leaving you feels like but a prayer on the softest footstep. Simon, I wish I could weep. My tears are dry. What else do I have besides drying and drying only to see that the summit is but another torture? You are nowhere nearer, and I'm nowhere closer. Between us is an ocean, and someday we'll see it fall apart. Simon, do you know that if the axis of the Earth was just 1 millimeter away from its current position, all of us would be dead? But I don't want to talk about that. Instead, let me talk about autumn in Mississauga. I biked around Erindale Park. The fallen leaves were crushed underneath my tires, and while everyone was mesmerized by the death of the living, I couldn't help my feeling of disgust. A nausea took control of me, and now all I have is the apathy. It was like a movie scene. I was watching all of them dancing in the moonlight while isolating myself in a glacier jailhouse. I was waiting for my own spring. 2 more years and I shall be at the entrance of university. 2 more years and I'll know the taste of freedom. Some say it's salty, some say sweet. Others say that it's so thick you are only craving it because everyone else is craving it.
Thank
Simon,
you.
do you ever? Thank you.
That
Like,
is
I cringe a
such
lot.
an interesting story. I'm tempted to just let you keep reading and reading and reading until the end. It's a beautiful story. But who are you writing for? Who is your target audience?
I think that the target audience for my book mostly is for the queer immigrant kids out there, because to go to the root of what the reason why I started writing the story is because when I first came to Canada, I was very, very lonely. I
Mm-hmm.
know that Canada is a very welcoming country, more so than any other foreign country out there. As of course, as a foreigner, I have a lot of trouble. A person who I am today, who can speak English well, who can write a
Right.
novel, who can promote everything and do everything. I wasn't this person like 11 or 12 years before, of course. I struggle a lot with English, and I struggle a lot with my degree. I failed to get into university. I failed to get to University of Toronto once, and it was very upsetting. But there was absolutely no one there for me except my family, my mother and my sister, who's going through the same struggle actually, because my sister at that time was also trying to get into a college.
Yes.
So yeah, it was like it was the most depressing episode in my life. But
I'm sorry to hear that.
that was, I think that everyone, immigrant kids, they go through the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, in a sense, I wrote this book, so I hope that for any immigrant kids out there,
Mm-hmm.
it's like an encouragement for them. Like, I'm telling them, hey, it gets better. I swear that it gets better. So just try to hold on a little bit longer, even though
Mm-hmm.
you feel like it is the end of the world at that moment.
Right.
Just wake up another day, because I swear that it gets better.
Right, right. Thank you so much for that. I think that as an immigrant myself, that is something I'd like to hear. And that's a promise that I hope that, many young kids coming into Canada with the hope of freedom and a future are not discouraged, that they can see stories like your own that are telling them, hey, look, I came here, I couldn't speak English, but now here I am. 3 books down and I'm getting stronger and I'm settling in quite well. So thank you for that. Thank you for that insight. Now, you said you have done 3 books so far.
hmm
Yes. What is the other book? What is the other book title?
Yeah, right. So the other two books are poetry collections. One is Salt and Ashes. So sorry, it's still in the bundle, but one is Salt
Beautiful.
and Ashes.
Right.
Yes, and the other is the smallest God, the most God who ever lived.
Mm-hmm.
And it was my lucky break that it is in the top new release on Amazon straight out after the first week.
Right.
But yeah, so those two poetry collections are leaning
Mm-hmm.
more into the mature and adult audience, and it talks more about existentialism and philosophical school ideology.
Mm-hmm.
As yeah, my main major of learning is about philosophy, and I navigate through every literary school of thought. So that's why those two poetry collection is a reflection of my learning and a reflection of my research. So
Mm-hmm.
it is quite a very heavy topic, and it's quite more difficult to navigate through. But yeah, mm, it's a very joyful experience writing those two poetry collections.
Good to know. Now, how long does it take you to finish a book? Speaking about the Chronicles of Love Foretold.
Chronicle of a Love Foretold took me about 3 months.
Wow, you write fast.
Yeah, it is the aftermath that is worrying, but why
Uh,
I write, because I have a habit of like devoting myself to writing a book until it is finished, because
mm-hmm.
when the inspiration struck me, I just keep writing and writing, because it's like I am living in the story. So I
Mm-hmm.
just have to keep jotting down and jotting down and jotting down the scene until it is finished. So normally, book I can write the whole book very, very fast, but the aftermath is very heavy on me. So yeah, my family keeps telling me stop writing.
And by aftermath, what do you mean? Are you talking about the editing work, the cleaning up of copy, or what?
And partially no, because
Yeah.
I don't know if I should talk about this, but I'm diagnosed because I'm neurodivergent, so I'm
Okay.
diagnosed with bipolar and
Right.
depression.
Sorry. Yeah.
So yeah, having those kind of attack is very severe, and of course I also have vocal aware seizure, so after writing a book I often have those episodes coming back to me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so it's very difficult to live with that. Yeah.
Interestingly. So, may I ask you the question, do you find writing cathartic? Does it help you deal with what you need to process?
Of course, it is a great help with helping with my mental state. In a way, I believe that as like Ernest Hemingway once said that being a writer is very easy. You just have to sit in a typewriter and read. So in a way, I feel that I do lead myself into the stories and the poems that I write,
Mhm,
the anger, frustration, the things that I cannot say out loud, and the nicety that I keep having to fake in front of people, or something that I couldn't voice out there. I
mhm,
channeling them through the books and the stories that I wrote and the characters that are living on the page. I think that they are a tool, a weapon for me to speak the words that I can't speak, and I hope that through the pages I can inspire others to think the same, to see the reason inside the debate. For example,
mhm,
let me tell you an example about my story, my unpublished novel, and even if love was lost. It was an episode in my creative writing course. So
mhm,
it was a story where the political landscape and the secret police was trying to round up people, and the two protagonists were trying to break away. And the topic of the debate at that time was, if you kill a person, would it be right to pay a life with a life? Would it be right to let the justice system do what it need to do, and like jailing you in a house and jailing in prison?
mhm,
And it was heavy, but I think that some heavy topic, it needs characters to speak out, to show the two sides of the courts, to show that the black and the white, and
mhm,
they need to say their reasons out there so the readers can see, the readers can understand, and they will judge for themselves. Oh, so this is what I should think, and this is what I should see and believe in and judge for myself when the situation comes to that, because life has a multifaceted
mhm,
situation. You cannot judge a book by its cover, and you cannot judge a person struggle through their
mhm.
words alone. You have to be in their shoes.
That's
So
right.
that's why
So, may I ask, where is this book set?
the Chronicle of a Love Foretold is set in Mississauga and Oakville. And because Oakville and Mississauga is the place where I first set foot when I first come to Canada.
Right. Okay. Now, have you always wanted to be a self published author, or did you try publishing in the old fashioned way?
I tried publish in the traditional way before, and I tried querying a lot, but the rejection was coming a lot, like regularly. Some of them say that for a Chronicle of a Love Foretold especially, a lot of the agents, they say that the topics and the themes were very much to their liking and were very much to what they are trying to represent, but just that it is not the right target market. It is not the current big hit out there, so they might not. It's not in the list. So I think that it hits me at the point where I think I will create my own market.
Mm-hmm.
Besides that, there was another part to why I decided to become a publisher, and rather than self-publishing my own books. Right now, my publisher also have an open call submission for everyone. It is because I have the experience of it through a lot of excellent stories.
Mm-hmm.
I participated in a website called Critic Partners before. A lot of those story in that site of my creative partners, of the people who send me as beta readers. They are excellent story. They are wonderful. They are very very like top, like cream of the top. But they keep
Mm-hmm.
telling me that the agent don't want that kind of plot. The
Mm-hmm.
agent doesn't want to represent those kind of story, those kind of writings. And I was like, it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
because you can send it to me. I can publish those, and we can grow together. if the market doesn't
Mhm.
want it,
Mhm.
we are not we are not sure what the market wants unless we show it to them, and then they will judge for themselves.
Exactly. Now, I was just going to ask you the question. When we hear a lot publishers saying this is not for the right market, this is not the kind of content we want, this doesn't fit our target audience, what do you think about that characterization? What do you think publishers want or what they're looking for?
I think it is it ties a lot in with the sales and the profit side of the business,
Hmm.
because you know how if a book creates a sensation, it will attract in a lot more sales. So let's say if Chronicle of a Love Foretold was written by a larger platform writers, a person who has a lot more fans, who has like a big book talk following, then maybe it will be a hit. And that's what triggered me the most, because I don't think the voice of a writer should be based on the numbers of the sales or the profits or anything that ties in with money from the start. Literature is all about the inspiration, the spark, the ignition, the fire that it is fostering in the reader's heart.
Hmm.
So let's say that the book is selling well. Let's say that the book is attracting a lot of profits for the publisher, for the agent, for the person behind the scene.
Hmm.
But what do the readers feel after putting the book down? And what is the lesson that the reader acquire after putting the book down? Just entertainment, or is it something deeper? So I think that for me, it is more like what Alexander Hamilton said in the Broadway musical,
Hmm.
that I want to build something that will outlive me. That is the sensation that I want to create after each of my publishing company's book is put down. So yeah,
Good to know. What kind of reviews have you received for the Chronicles of a Love Foretold? When was it published, by the way?
it was published on the September of 27,
Hmm.
and before that, I have sent a few ARC copies to through NetGarley and Book Sirens, and thanks be to God that they are all lovely reviews, and
Ah.
yeah, they are all 5 stars, and they all said that it is very haunting for them, and they
Mm.
cannot put it down. There
Mhm.
was also a very lovely 4 star reviews. They say that they give it a 4 star because they want more, but the book ends too fast. And I was like, yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. The book ends too fast.
Was this book intended for young readers, or did it have a wide audience?
I think this book is targeted for to new adult to mature adult.
Mhm.
Although the main protagonist is indeed for kids,
Yeah.
teenagers, but the story revolves a lot more about the dynamic in family relationships and
Right.
immigrant topics, and a lot more about the bigotry that the LGBTQ community face, and the divorce and separation of a family, what it will affect to the child's life. So yeah, it is kind of, it fits everyone need and attention.
All right. So, where can you find your books? Are you selling? Are you selling online? Are you selling on Amazon? Do you publish on Amazon? Where do you publish?
Yeah, like Chronicles of Love Foretold right now is available through Amazon, through my website, and
Mm.
also on on Indigo's website, also as a select Indigo stores. Yeah, it is. I think that it is quite easy to purchase Chronicles of Love Foretold.
Good to know. What is the cover price?
Sorry.
What is the cover price for Chronicles of a Love Foretold?
Right now the book is set at a retail price for $31, but
Mhm.
I think that Amazon is running a sale for it right now. Also, you can purchase the ebook edition, which is much cheaper, and I think I also prefer the ebook version.
Uh-huh.
I am an ebook reader myself, so I understand how picking up a book and like carrying it with me all the days is
Yeah.
heavy.
Right, right. Yeah, thank you. So now, with some experience of self-publishing, what would you say are the challenges that you have faced, and what have you learned from those challenges?
I think the biggest challenge that I have to face is about funding and trying to find help. I am currently trying to source funding from the government for my publishing company. So yeah, the process that I have to wait and trying to find the right timing, trying to schedule around that. I think that because right now our publisher is very, very small, so a lot of the time it will fall under the category of self-publishing.
Hmm.
So a lot of the awards we cannot enter because we are not the so-called traditional publisher. So
Right.
if you can't enter an award, then
Hmm.
you can't boost the visibility of your book. And if
Hmm.
you can't boost the visibility, it will affect yourself. And it's just kind of like a circle coming around and around and around. And we keep trying to crack the challenge. I was like, even if we are a self-publisher or a small scale publisher or any way of that, we still have the right to represent a voice no matter what. So why
Right.
is there a stigma around traditional publishing and a self-publishing or indie publishing? I just don't understand why there's a barrier like that. So that's the
Hmm.
biggest challenge that I have to come through.
The question about the awarding criteria that exists that tends to prefer a certain group of writers over others. What are your thoughts about that? And what do you think needs to change to make sure that at least everybody is included and all voices are heard?
I think that the most important part is if it is a literature award, then it should be for the writers, no matter what the background, no matter what like their publishing records or their visibility on the market. I do understand that if it is from a traditional publisher, the higher chance of the quality from that book will be. But you I think from the standpoint of myself, if I were to judge, because you don't know how much an author has put effort into the book and you don't know how much they have invested, just give them a chance because you don't know until you try. And why should you obliterate the chance for every little author out there, every single author out there, just because they are not from the so-called traditional publisher? Because I believe that if you want to have a freedom market for the voice of literature, why would you limit the choice of that to the elite, the traditional publisher, and everything that you deem is high quality before you even encounter the book, before you even encounter the voice, the plot, and the characters in it.
I hear you, and I think I would tend to agree with that. So now, having written two books down, I am sure you know certain things that either maybe aspiring and upcoming writers may want to know. So, is there anything that you would like to share about becoming a successful writer that is self-published or self-motivated?
I don't think I am that successful yet, so I'm not sure if I'm in the position to give
Well,
advice
you're
to others.
almost there. You have done three books. Some of us have manuscripts, but not published anything. So yes, a whole length, you're a successful writer. Take it that.
If I were to give an advice, I would
Hmm.
say that trust in yourself a little bit more because I think every writer out there will have the doubt that they don't know whether they are the best version of themselves yet. But I will say this one, but sentence it may sound arrogant, but everything that you want to write is out there already. Forget about making an impact. Forget about writing the next big story or the
Mm.
next hit or whatever. Just keep writing the story that you hold most dear to yourself. Keep writing the story that you believe is important to yourself, and it will find the right audience. It will find the right person, the right people, the right cohort that will stick to your story. Because it is never about whether you can make the biggest hit. It will never be about whether you can win an award or whether you can make your name as an author or not. Story traditionally is meant to be shared. And when you write out, it is sharing through the community. So just keep writing. Do not doubt yourself. Do not ever doubt yourself. you are doing a great job. Just keep writing as you are.
Wonderful advice. I should have asked you before I started trying to write my own story, because that is exactly the reasons why our stories don't come out, because you keep writing and then you're second guessing yourself and thinking maybe nobody's going to write that story. So what I'm hearing you saying is that you tell your story, your audience will come to you. I think that's a very, very beautiful way of looking at it. So moving forward, tell me a little bit about you have a degree and then you
Yes.
write. So I want to know whether you're writing full time or exclusively writing, or there are other things that you do besides your writing.
Right now, I'm beside writing, I am also trying to maintain my publishing company. So there's a lot of paperwork around that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, most of the day is it's like I work 12-hour shift now because from morning to like in the evening making calls, making contacts, create networking, new networking to widen the network for my books and trying to find the right vendors for my book. So yeah, we just keep driving. We just keep coming to bookstores and then contacting other retailers and all that stuff. And then by night, I will go sit down at my computer, my laptop, and then trying to finish another novel. So yeah, life has been nothing but work for me these days.
Good to hear that. Now, when I met you at the White on the Street Festival, you are with your mother.
Hmm.
She said to me that she has been helping you market the book and do some stuff around your writing. So the question is, where is your family in your scheme of things? How do you balance your commitment to work and your passion for writing with other obligations, including family?
Yeah, about that. I collaborate with my sister on a lot of things. So she also helped me a lot in sales and in the operations of the company.
Mhm.
As for my family, it has come to a point that recently I hardly have time to sit down and have a proper meals with them. But I think there's a point in our life we have to choose which battle we want to fight first and which
Right.
one we will tend to later. So I do think there will be regrets, and I do think that there will be stuff that I will come back later and say, oh, I wish I would have done something different than devoting myself to only work right now. The thing that keep me going at this moment is because I want to provide a better life for my mother, a better life for my fathers, and because of that, I still believe that at the end of the day, after I finish my work, I can still sit down with them, late night snack, watching TV, still being there with them. I mean, maintaining a work-life balance at this time in my career track is not an easy thing, and we can still hang out on the weekend.
Mhm.
But I think the result I wanted and the goal that I wanted is to see them living a happy life and
Mhm.
without worries about financial burden. So that will be the only reason that keep me going.
That is a wonderful statement to make. So it follows then, I was going to ask you what you have had to forego to achieve the kind of success that you have been able to achieve. And also follow that up with a question: does writing pay? Is it something worthwhile? Does it pay? Can you live off writing?
Well, to say that having to forego something, I think
Mhm.
that for every career, we still have to forego a little bit. Like with me, everything has a price, and we have the choice to deem whether the price is worth it to
Mm.
pay to follow the path. For me,
Right.
it has been worth it so far.
Mhm.
And yeah, I have spending a lot of time, spending a lot of my health on that, spending a lot of valuable time that I can spend with my friends, my family, my social life. But so far, I have also gained a lot, learning
Mhm.
a lot about the industry, learning new knowledge, learning about the networking things, being a different person, growing as an author, not only as an author, but as a publisher, being independent regardless.
Mhm.
So if there's no pain, there's no gain. So I think that is a good thing to know.
Mhm.
And as for whether writing can pay, I think it depends on what you define as the payment So if you define the payment as the pleasure for someone who can read your story and say that they enjoy it,
Right.
yeah, writing does pay. But if you
Great.
define the payment as money or financial, or like you term it as living off writing,
Mm-hmm.
beginning from the start, it won't come to that. It will never come to that. Like having a six figures deal right from the start, it won't come that easy. It
Right.
will not be like overnight. So it will go a lot with marketing. It will go a
Mm-hmm.
lot with trying to find the right timing, the right connection.
Mm-hmm.
It will come to a lot of luck. So, but there will be one thing I will say.
Mm-hmm.
You can still do the thing you hate and then use that money to do the thing you love. So,
That's brilliant. So, what is this thing you do for money that you hate to do, but you have to?
yeah, there was a time that I worked as a marketing analytics.
Nice.
Yeah, my degree is in that field. So, yeah,
Wow. So you do, you're a marketing analyst for the
yes,
money and the writer for love.
yeah.
Isn't that a beautiful way of putting it? Thank you for that. Now, let's talk a little bit more about working as a motivator or a role model for other writers. What advice would you have for them?
I'm not exactly the perfect model, but I think what I would say to other writers would
Mhm.
be do not put an importance on money. If you want to be in the game for money, then better not be in the game
Don't
anyway,
try, don't
because
start. Yeah.
it just doesn't work that way. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, but if you have the passion, if you have a very, very strong determination, if you have the guts at stake,
Mhm.
then you can stay in it. And remember, again, this is what Alexander Hamilton in the Broadway musical say. If you stand for nothing, then what will you fall for? Because I
Mhm.
think that in a way, writing is about standing up for something. Writing is about using your voice to protest, to be to be a force against something that you believe is wrong and you are in the right. So stand up and fight with your pens, your voice, your story. So yeah, if you are in that track, then stand up and do not fall back down. Keep going in that direction. The fame, the money, the wealth, it will come to that later. But if you start out just thinking about financial gain, just thinking
Mhm.
about get rich quick scheme, then don't start.
Wow, that's a really, really powerful way of putting it. So then it follows, what kind of support or help do you think that writers such as yourself would need, and from whom would this help be coming from?
I think that funding will be the most important part, and I still really need funding actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think another part of that is I hope that in the future the literature industry will be more tolerant towards indie publishing and self-publishing authors as well as
Hmm.
small-scale publishing company, and will allow a leeway for them to enter bigger prize. For example, the Writers Trust prize and other bigger prize in the literature market, because that will be such a big help for new authors. They will have a chance to participate in the pool. They will have a chance, at least even if very small, but at least they will have a chance to compete against other authors that are publishing traditionally, and they will know where they stand in the market. They will know where they stand among the people who are like, I know this is wrong, but who are like the chosen one. But
Hmm.
yeah, it will give them a chance to learn the lesson, give them a chance to showcase their talent, and it will be a very valuable experience as an author. And I hope it will come to that day somehow.
Very, very well said. Thank you very much. So, do you think that there is actually adequate or fair representation of the immigrant authors in the Canadian landscape for literature?
I do think that the Canadian market has
Hmm.
been very tolerant towards all kind of representation. It will be unfair of me to say that there's no immigrant authors or there's no representation of neurodivergent person or anything. But I do think that somehow there's a lack of representation for the minority. And I do think that I just wish that on the bookshelf of the bookstore that I come to, I can see more story from the minority, how they struggle through, for example, whether it is an immigrant person, people of color person, or neurodivergent, or from any disabled person. I just wish I could see their story, hear what they are going through, instead of like a Reads Books Club or a next pick up an editor's choice. So I know like I have met a very interesting reader at the Western Street who who has who had flew from Spain to come to the Western Street to hunt the books, and she said to me that coming to bookstore she can only find the big publishers books and the prize winning award books, and she cannot cope with that, so she chose to come to these books events so she can find new voices and new authors so she can follow through. And sometimes she can find the gems in that. Sometimes she can find an author that she especially vibing with. So I think why not make that available in all the stores? Why not make the voices available in all the store and try to be more open with the author in the minority community. It is not that hard.
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. And I hear that your rallying call is that let there be representation of minority and migrant authors in bookshops and outlets where books are found and books are bought. So if you have a minute, can I entice you to read for us just a short stanza of one of your poems?
Of course. So I will read from my latest poetry collection, Salt and Ashi.
Right.
And this is very interesting from the Western Shoot event. This is my first time to know that Salt and Ashi is very popular in Brampton. I don't know how, but thank you,
Nice to
Brampton
know.
community.
Yeah, good to know.
Thank
Good to
you,
know
the
that.
Brampton community. So
Yeah.
I will read the poem Shoot from Salt and Ashi. That's right, comrade, don't waver. On the battlefield, the truth is the first one to sacrifice itself for the higher indifference. Some call fate, some call it by its real name. You will learn later after your corpse is carried back home on my back. Greed, vanity, the side of human believing that they are more human than the rest. That's right, comrade. Shoot and don't stop. Don't even hold your breath. Don't think. Pull the trigger. Aim at the head of another person. Never for 1 second imagine that he is your kin, your father, your son. In another word, he might be your long lost brother. Is his blood any different? Is his flesh made of stone? Are his bones golden? What have you not stolen from across the borderline of this fucking madness, of the wars on endless death? But comrade, don't falter in your steps. Even if you surrender now, it won't help. Someone else will kill him in your stead, and perhaps you will be next. That's right, comrade. Shoot. Don't think. Don't open your eyes. Don't stare at the set of humans across the line. Because once you do that, the truth will survive. And you don't want something that protests, that ugly, that haunting and macabre, to massacre the winning side of history. So shoot, comrade, shoot.
Lovely. Can I see the cover of that book? Hold it up.
Yeah, sure.
Salt and Ashes. Thank you so very much for taking the time to speak with us today. It's a truly an honor, and I want to wish you success in your writing and your endeavors. So here at Freedom Speak, it's our job and our duty to support and promote free speech. And what you're doing is speaking to your audiences, telling your own story, and that is a very commendable endeavor. Thank you for making the time. Thank you for joining us. So, dear listener, if you do like what you're listening to, if you like the content of this podcast, you can find us on Spotify, YouTube, or wherever it is you find your podcast. Thank you for making the time. I am your host, Wanja Gathu, and I was in the studio with Miss Thanh Dinh, an author, a poet, and a very, very, very ambitious and very, very inspirational person to interact with. Thank you again. See
Thank
you.
you for having me.
Thank you. You're welcome. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you.